You see the ball you got for me? It's right there, by the way.
Oh, there we go. All right, we're live and direct. All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Friday afternoon. We have to get another KFTV live going, man, to fully get rid of the stench of that Game 1 loss by the Knicks to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals and shift the focus to Game 2. And we're going to give you our keys to victory, man. CP the Franchise here. Special guest in the building. Well, a returning guest, friend of the program, man. You guys know him. Covers the New York Football Giants for WFAN as well as Giants.com. And in the spare time, in the offseason, when he gets a little bit of time, he also is talking Knicks with us here on KFTV. Our guy, John Schmelk, is in the building. Salute to all of our franchise channel members. Salute to everybody in the chat, of course. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. And salute to all of our friends at Bleacher Report as well, man. Lock in, and here we go, man. Happy Friday. John, happy Friday, man. How you doing?
I'm doing better today than I was yesterday, CP.
Yes.
I literally, it probably took me around to like 3 or 4 o'clock before I could actually think about something other than the game.
Yeah.
What got me there is that I forced myself to rewatch like the final 6 minutes in overtime just to kind of wrap my head around it because like you, I was at the game. So it's hard when you're at the game and you're kind of emotionally into it to really analytically see what's going on. And when I rewatched it, the individual mistakes were as bad as I thought they were, but I don't think it's anything systemic here, which is why I still, as emotionally tough it is to recover as a fan or a player from a game like that, I still think a lot of the fundamentals in this series are still in the Knicks' favor.
Yeah.
They just now have to win one more game, right, than maybe they should have had to before because they outplayed the Pacers in Game 1, and that's why a loss like that is so painful. If you outplay a team, you want to come away with the win because if you don't, then you have to outplay them for another game when you otherwise wouldn't have had to. So if they can get over the emotional part of this, and I think this team showed us that they're able to do that, I'm not that worried about that. As long as the shooting doesn't get out of whack for either team, I still think the fundamentals in this series favor the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. And to put the final dirt on Game 1, it was so funny because at halftime, as I'm walking around, and I ran into a younger Knicks fan, a KFTV fan, and he must have been in like his 20s or just getting there, and he's like, CP, is this the first Eastern Conference Finals you've seen in your lifetime? Maybe he didn't get up close to see all this wisdom in my beard, you know what I mean? But, I chuckled because I'm like, kid, trust me, I've seen a lot of stuff, man. I've seen a lot.
It's funny. Tommy Beer put up a meme that I retweeted after the game where it's basically just like to younger Knicks fans.
Yes.
There's like a guy on the news just saying, your first time?
Right.
CP, this was 95 Reggie Miller Game 1 Eastern Conference semifinals. That's what this was. That was this game. It was the same type of deal. The math is a little bit different and how it went down is a little bit different. It was the same thing. Like it basically went the same way where every single thing for a minute, it was really more than that, but if you want to get to the last minute of the game, you can do that, had to go wrong for the Knicks to lose that game. And it really happened for 6 minutes of 3-4 minutes of regulation.
Right.
Then throw in overtime, whether it was 50-50 calls, official reviews, missed free throws. There were even a couple rebounds that I thought the Pacers hit it out of bounds. Like Siakam went over Josh Hart on one. I thought he knocked it out of bounds, not Hart. They ended up giving it to the Pacers. Thibodeau, it was a bad challenge early in the game. They could have used that on the Halliburton kicking Brunson, got the and one earlier. That would have been overturned on review. So just everything had to go wrong in such a short period of time. And, well, it's the Knicks, so they managed.
Yeah, everything went against them. And, it's all of that it led to the emotional reaction to this loss. Because, yes, it's a playoffs, and you can say, and, some people say, hey, it's only Game 1, relax. But that trauma's still there, man, from previous experiences, previous playoff losses to the Pacers. Reggie's there and Halliburton's doing the choke. So all of that is just like right in front of you, just like, oh my God, it's happening again. But just as you said, when you rewatch this thing, everything is correctable, but it was just the frustration is that it's almost like a tale of two halves, tale of two thoughts, because they're up by 14. And I'm sitting there daydreaming like, wow, like this is Eastern Conference Finals. These guys are on their way. And then in the second half, it's like these guys are treating this like a regular season game. Where is the defense?
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, right? And I said this gosh, what was it? It was after game two against, no, it was game five against Boston when they're up 3-1, right? And then they come out in game five, they're flat, they play like trash. And I made the point that this team doesn't handle prosperity well. And I think we've seen that throughout the year. It's why they only won 51 games.
Yeah.
They tend to relax. They tend not to have their foot pushed on the gas pedal every game as hard as you can all the time. And I think last year's team, while less talented, generally had their foot on the gas pedal most of the time, which is why fans love them so much. But we've seen the highs of this team when they do push the pedal and they stay locked and engaged, they can be really, really good.
Right.
And we saw that for 45 minutes of this game, 42 minutes of this game. So the same way they came out in game five against Boston and laid an egg, when they took that lead and that unit minus Bridges and Brunson, and people want to kill Thibodeau for bringing those guys back in the game. I'm sorry. You're trying to nurse a 16-point lead here. You want your guy that's going to – the way you lose that game is by turning it over. The way you turn it over is by not having Jalen Brunson on the court, okay?
Right.
Overtime, his two mistakes in overtime, regardless of that point. But they took – and it wasn't even offensively. They still scored, CP.
Yeah.
They scored like 17 points in the last 6 minutes.
Yeah.
They gave up 20 points in the last 2.5 minutes of this game. I mean, and just like Towns, the first two, I went through every three that the Pacers hit. Towns played too far back on the first two. Mm-hmm. You know, Bridges was a little far back on Halliburton on a pull-up, but that's still a pull-up off the dribble three. I'm not going to lose my mind on that. Hart slips on a closeout. It happens. I'm not going to lose my mind on that. The two Anunoby ones in the final minute where he is just sitting, and it's not even he's like close to closing out. He's like 5 feet behind the screen. And this is after Naismith has hit 3 or 4 already.
Yeah.
How are you not up on those screens? You can forgive Towns for the mistakes, right? Because that's his nature.
Right.
That's what he does. He's going to make up for it on offense. Anunoby is supposed to be your best defensive player. For him to make two mistakes like that, and those are the 2 threes in the final minute when the Knicks are up 9 with 58 seconds to go. And Anunoby just fell asleep, and he was not locked in, and it continued when he dropped a bounce pass that Brunson put right in his stomach that he should have caught. It happened again when he missed a free throw at the end of the game.
Yeah.
It happened again in overtime when he failed to box out. That allowed the Pacers to get a second chance opportunity. And then, by the way, he was the one that was jogging back on defense after the Brunson non-goaltend call, and he wasn't back. So the Knicks were guarding 3-on-4, I believe. Bridges didn't want to leave Naismith, who was on the right wing. Would you leave Naismith in that situation?
Right.
I certainly wouldn't. So Nembhard gets the wide open baseline 3 because Anunoby's jogging back like it's January 5th.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what fried his brain in the final minute of regulation and overtime. And look, he had that nice little stretch in the middle of the fourth quarter where he scored a couple baskets and all that stuff. That's great. But that was some, like, head in the clouds basketball from a guy that's been a really good player all year that, you know, you can't have that against the Pacers, CP.
Can't.
The way they shoot and move the ball, they are going to burn you when you make those mistakes every time.
Can't afford to make those mistakes, and that, you know, that's been my key for this series. Starts with their defense. Their defense is going to tell you whether or not they can win this series. They have more than enough offense to get it done. I'm not afraid of the Pacers defense, even though they haven't been playing well. You give them credit; they haven't been playing well coming into this series. I think the Knicks have way more than enough firepower offensively to get the job done. Should they just move the ball and play with some pace? But it's the defense that worries me. And coming out the gates. Look, it's a game run, but coming out the gates, they go 9 for 9.
Dude, you're at the game. You know, they have the scoreboards, and you look it up, and it was like 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
The Pacers were 100% from 3 and 90% from the field.
Right.
It was like the best offensive 6 minutes of playoff basketball until the final 6 I had ever seen in my life. It was unbelievable.
Unreal. So, I mean, like, and so a lot of that was Turner getting to a groove with Towns in a deep drop. So I mean, what do you think there? Because, you know, the key is going to be the starting five getting on the same page defensively in terms of what they want to do. But just even their approach to Turner, I think needs a little bit of an adjustment there.
Hey, look, I think the bottom line is that, and I'm curious to get your take. I think they tried a bunch of different things throughout the game defensively. They tried drop, they tried switching, they tried hedging and getting back. And I still think if Karl-Anthony Towns is in the game, the only way you can play this is switching. The minute he has to start thinking and judging and trying to play two guys at once and drop and doing all that stuff, it never goes well, CP. It never goes well. So Halliburton is going to eat that up if you get Towns in those high screen and rolls. And look, do I want Towns on a switch on Halliburton? No, ideally I don't. But here's the thing. I would much rather have Halliburton trying to score one-on-one than facilitating ball movement and player movement and getting his teammates involved. So I will live with that. I know Brunson in Towns foul trouble is a legitimate danger when you play like that. I get all that. But for me, I thought their best defense, and you even saw Towns do it in the fourth quarter on a couple plays. He did it versus Siakam. He had another switch on a small. He's okay with that. He's abominable doing anything else. So I'll take something he's okay at than something he's awful at. So I would lean into the switching. And the other thing that does too, CP, is when you switch a lot, it's less movement, right? You don't have to track everybody around screens, fight through picks as much. It takes a lot less out of you in a series where the Pacers play with a lot of pace, no pun intended, and they play 10 guys and the Knicks play only 7 or 8. I think reducing some of that strain on your defense by switching more will also help you long-term in this series and making guys fight through screens, run around like crazy, and do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, coming into the series, I thought, you got to show them a lot of different looks, especially Halliburton, not to get him comfortable. But if you're going to continue, especially with this starting unit, especially with Towns and Brunson, maybe simplifying it a little bit.
Yeah.
Number one, as you said, can cut down on the movement, cuts down on them trying to get you tired by running you raggedy through all these screens. And number two, just kind of just keeps things just a little bit simple, because time and time again, when things break down for this team is when they have to communicate and execute off that communication, especially with the starting five. And we're going to get to those numbers with including Deuce and Mitch, but with that starting five in particular, and you saw things kind of blow up a little bit on the sidelines. People were trying to make a little bit of a big deal out of it, but in the heat of a moment, high stakes, pressure situation, they blew several assignments in crunch time, man.
Yeah, you can't have that. And look, and the thing is that it wasn't just Towns, which is what bothers me the most, right? It was Anunoby that was involved in those. They had the one scramble play where Brunson was late getting out to Naismith. That was one of I think that was his third three. So yeah, look, I'm with you, and I think you have to keep it simple. All right, well, Brunson's here, then you hedge and get back. If it's this player, then you do that. Should they be able to handle those things? Yes. Have they proven they can't? Yes. So I think, look, you don't have to be great defensively, to your point, CP. They got whatever shot they wanted on offense.
They're good.
Jalen Brunson got wherever he wanted, whether it was Nembhard or Shepard or Naismith, who was just fouling him every play and they weren't calling it. They just if Pacers go to the finals, I want the Naismith on Shea Alexander test. Like, does Alexander get the calls he always get, or does Nathan just let him do whatever he wants the way he does against Brunson? I don't want to see that, but I'll be curious if that ends up being the case. But look, they can get whatever shot they want. And I think we'll get to the defense in a second, but I think the balance on offense you have to strike. While Brunson, he scored 40 points on like 25 field goal attempts. Like, he was unbelievable offensively in that game, except some of the mistakes at the end. But he has to balance because he needs to get everyone involved early. I think you run your offense. If you get to like 7 or 8 on the shot clock, then it's like, all right, Jalen, here's the ball. Run your ISO, do your thing. Mm-hmm. But you want to try to get the offense in the flow first, and then he should be your last resort. I don't want to see a lot of possessions where there's 12 on the shot clock and Brunson's still the only guy that's touched the ball.
Yeah.
That's what I want to avoid, right? Get the ball moving, and if it's not working with 7 on the clock, get it back to Brunson, then let him do his thing and get a shot.
Yeah, as your bailout guy, man, and that was a frustrating thing with Game 1 is that you got 70 between Brunson and Towns. You got to the free throw line 40 times and still lost that game. It's just one of those things that you just can't explain in the NBA playoffs. But just that attention to detail, that championship caliber killer instinct, staying on the same page defensively, hitting your free throws, man. You can't win championships going 70% from the line on 40 attempts.
Well, dude, and Brunson's turnovers late, not boxing out.
Yeah.
The Pacers are the second worst offensive rebounding team in the sport this year.
Right.
And they got 3 or 4 huge offensive rebounds late in that game. Yeah.
So they just have to clean that up. Now comes the question in regards to the starting five. It's not new. We've been talking about this since the Pistons series, but the question about the starting five remains because right now in 292 minutes they have a net rating of minus 8.89. Every starter, you had Josh Hart playing 44 minutes in Wednesday's game. Now, conversely, we had great games from Deuce. I think he's continued to be phenomenal. And Mitch. Deuce in his 19 minutes, a plus 8.3. Mitch in his 18 minutes, 18.7 minutes in the playoffs, a plus 8.4. These guys got to get more time, man. Especially Mitch.
I have no problem with Deuce and Mitch both playing 30 minutes. I don't have a problem with that. I think some of those starter plus minus on-off numbers are a little skewed because they're always playing against the other team's starting five.
Yeah.
Like, for example, that run that they made with Brunson and Bridges on the bench in the fourth quarter. Big reason they made that run is because the Pacers had all the backup players in.
Yeah.
Like, Naismith wasn't in the game. So, like, that's part of this. And we talked during the Pistons series, and Deuce was awful in that series.
Yes.
So I did not want to hear people, like, you have to play Deuce more.
No.
He was terrible in that series.
He was.
But he was really good versus Boston, and he was really good in game one. So, yeah, he should be out there. He should sub in with about 6 minutes into the first quarter. And he should be in there until, 3 or 4 minutes to go in the half. And he should just play 17, 15, 16 straight minutes. And he should get to 30 minutes. The Mitch thing's interesting. I do want to play him more. Cat was so good offensively. I understand not wanting to take him off the floor. I do worry about the double big lineup, CP, in this matchup, just because of the pace the Pacers play at. And you saw them go small down the stretch of that game with Toppin at the 5.
Yeah.
So I do worry about the double big lineup a little bit, but Mitch is just so good on the offensive glass. He extended so many possessions. I want to get him more time. What that looks like in terms of Towns, I'm kind of still figuring that out in my own head, but the double big lineup with the way they spread the floor, move the ball, and shoot threes is something that I do worry about a little bit.
Sometimes I just feel like, man, if we got to sacrifice a little bit of Towns' offense for keeping Mitch out there, I'm doing it.
Dude, I'm fine with that.
20 minutes is not enough.
I have no problem with that.
20 minutes is not enough for the guy that cleans up so many of this team's defensive mistakes. You're trying to get to the finals, man.
And CP, throughout this whole playoffs, and this has been consistent, the Knicks have been better with Mitchell Robinson on the floor. And it's not just, I say the plus minus can get, skewed sometimes with this stuff. That's eye test too. You watch this team play with Mitch on the floor, they look better. They even look better offensively, which is so incomprehensible when you think about it because it doesn't make any sense. But they actually have looked a little bit better offensively with Mitch on the floor too. I don't know if it's just as the offensive rebounding or whatever the reason. Maybe they get in transition more because he gets more rebounds. They can push it. They get more stops, so they get more defensive rebounds. You can push it more. But look, I don't know how many minutes Mitch can give you with his health and all that stuff, but however many he can give them, that's how many he needs to give them. Because you're right. You could argue, other than Brunson, he's been the best Knick in this postseason.
Easily. Hands down. So, we need more than 20 minutes for Mitch, and you're trying to get to the NBA Finals. Every one of these games is crucial. You can't afford to be playing around here. That was the frustration with Game 1. Need more Mitch minutes. Who's checking McConnell off the bench? Because here we go again. The guy's just going coast to coast and scoring at will. Who's checking? I'd like to see more Delon Wright minutes out there. I don't know. What do you think is the answer here for guarding McConnell?
We finally saw Bridges block 2 of his shots when he got onto him. And I thought Bridges' point of attack and defense in this game was okay. It wasn't great. I thought it was okay.
It's decent.
But I feel like, though, my feel for Bridges, I'm curious to see if you agree with me, as he sees more of a guy, he gets better against them.
Yeah.
So I would expect him against McConnell and Halliburton to improve as the series goes along. But look, we saw last year Deuce can't guard McConnell for whatever reason. They just can't. Do you have to put do you put Hart on him? Do you put OG on him? Because McConnell's not going to beat you with speed, right? He's just crafty. Right. So I look, and it's not just the Knicks. He does that to everybody. Now, you look at McConnell's plus minus in the game, CP, it was not good.
Yeah.
So the Knicks did win those minutes with him on the floor, and they tried to put him on Brunson. That did not work either.
Yeah.
So, look, I think maybe you try Deuce on him again and hope he can figure out his issues from last year. But Brunson on him didn't work. He even got Bridges a couple times before Bridges blocked a couple of his shots. But look, the Pacers are deep. They're a good team. I don't think there's a great answer there, but I think, I liked when they started going under the screens against McConnell. I never understood why people try to go.
Those are the good adjustments.
Why are you going over the screens against this guy? Go under
every
time. And if he hits a pull-up 17-footer, Like, fine. We were both at the Garden. Remember when he lined up that wide open three and the whole Garden groaned?
Yeah.
I went to the game with my brother. I go, Pete, he's a terrible 3-point shooter.
That's what you want.
He could take that all day long. I don't
That's
care.
what you
That's
want.
fine. So that's what you got to force him to do.
Yeah, no question about it, man. The 2-minute report came back. They missed that goaltend. What did you make of the Siakam non-call on OG that was overturned? I still can't understand what was going on there. He grabbed him 3 different ways.
Yeah, I don't understand the rules anymore, dude.
What is a loose ball foul in the NBA these days, man?
The NBA used to be, even if you hit the ball, if you make contact elsewhere, it was still a foul, right? Like if you went up, blocked a shot, clean up top, but you bodied the guy, they would usually call the foul. The last year or so, I feel like the rules now, all right, if you hit the ball, you can do anything you want. After that, during that, it's okay. So I wasn't surprised that they overturned it. I thought they would in the moment. It's still a tough overturn when that's the call you made on the floor.
Yeah.
So I did not love that. I did not love I mean, I didn't think they were going to overturn it. I thought it was a bad challenge by Thibodeau, but I didn't think Brunson really extended his arm much on that either. I thought Naismith pressed into him first.
Right.
And then Brunson gave the little, chicken wing. And it wasn't like the full, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and even Siakam, by the way, did that a couple times late in that game where he did the full, elbow.
Yeah.
But, and then they lost the challenge. They could have challenged the Halliburton kick. But, yeah, I did not love that. I was not surprised they didn't overturn it, though. Like I said, I thought there were a couple other plays, too, where Siakam knocked it out of bounds off a couple rebounds where they gave the ball to the Pacers. They should have given it to the Knicks.
Yeah.
And then you have to call that goaltend.
You got to call that.
Then you go and review it. And if it's not a goaltend, you overturn it.
Right.
If it's that close, you have to make the call.
Yeah.
Because then you're able to review it. That, to me, was the mistake. And, dude, that turns into a run out in the 3. That turns into a 6-point Knick lead with the ball out of bounds to a 1-point lead. It changed the whole overtime period.
Yeah, certainly did, man. So very spotty by Zach Zarber and those guys. I don't know who the crew is tonight. I'm not sure if they released that just yet. But,
now, I'm guessing last night it was Tony Brothers and, what's his name? The extender.
Scott Foster.
Last night it was Foster and Tony Brothers. So I don't think they're going to be doing consecutive nights.
Yeah, hopefully
not. I don't think they'll be tonight.
Yeah.
I mean,
is it Malloy maybe?
Yeah, Malloy. Tall, skinny out the right hand. Malloy.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I bet you it's going to be a Malloy crew.
Yeah. Hopefully, man. Hopefully. Just glad to get game 1 over with because, like you said, the emotions of the Halliburton shot going up was like, yeah, and then as it kept going down, the crescendo went down to, oh my God.
Because the way I sit in section 213. So looking straight ahead, I'm kind of looking at the side of the backboard and the rim.
Yeah.
So like I'm basically shooting a baseline jumper from my seat, right? That's basically where I'm at. So and that's on my end of the floor. I see the ball bounce in the air, and it looks like it's online.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, it's not unless it goes left or right. This thing's gonna go through the hoop. And you can speak to it, man. You could hear a mouse squeak while that ball was in the air in that building. It was so quiet. Everyone, and then if you look at the TV replay, even all the players are just staring at the ball with like their mouths hanging open. It was basically the reverse opposite of the LJ 4-point play.
Yeah.
Where the whole place goes silent as the ball's in the air, and then it goes in and they go nuts. It was the complete reverse. It was the reverse opposite of that.
Only in Knicks Pacer history, man. So
see, he's the bottom line, though, dude. And I'll say this again.
Yeah.
The Knicks are owning every matchup. The Pacers have no one to guard Brunson.
Right.
The Pacers have no one to guard Karl Anthony Towns. The Pacers have nowhere to hide Tyrese Halliburton. Like, if they put Halliburton on Josh Hart for the entire game, he's going to grab 1,000,000 rebounds. Yeah. And they put him on Bridges to start the game. Bridges was killing him with off-ball movement, post-ups, and he was getting layups. He started the game with 10 points. He led the team in the first half in scoring because they had Halliburton on him.
Right.
So I still think the matchup fundamentals in this series still go in the Knicks' favor as long as they don't zone out for minutes at the time and do what they did in game 1.
Yeah, like speaking of zone out, we did a film review here. Shout out to my guy Bailey. And when we were talking about the potential matchups, we talked about potentially putting Hart on ball on Halliburton because off ball, he tends to have those lapses. And what happens late in that game is that Neesmith just takes off on him, backdoor for an easy score. It's things like that, man. That's been happening all year.
And that's why I want Deuce. I'm with you. And again, I'm not part of the Deuce army like other people are that think he's the key to the Knicks being basically the 68-win team. But he can guard Halliburton too. I like that matchup. So you get him out there, you put him on ball. He's been hitting his open threes. Dude, if they win that game, how epic is that chase down block where he jumps and swats? That was the play of the game. Of
Insane.
all the craziest plays, that was one of the best defensive plays I've ever seen from a Knick in the postseason. It was an unbelievable play.
Unbelievable play, man.
And he's been great. And so I'm with you. I think Deuce has to go 30 minutes. Dude, and I know he hit a couple shots. I can't do the campaign thing anymore. I can't do it. I've said this to you before. I'll say it again. The campaign experience is one that I do not handle well.
Yeah.
I'm not good with it. Maybe it's my psychology. I don't know. I'd rather see Landry Shamet out there. You want to put DeLon right out there to defend. That's fine too.
Yeah.
I can't just because here's the problem. If he doesn't shoot it every time, he gives you nothing positive.
No.
But if he shoots it every time, he takes your whole team out of the offense, and there's a less than 50-50 shot it's going to go well. So and he's terrible defensively. Yeah. I can't do it anymore. I can't. Let Bridges run the offense or McBride. I don't care. I don't need a traditional point guard out there. Get him out. I'm done.
How about
I campaign. I like you. You're a good dude. You try hard. I'm sorry. My mind cannot handle the campaign experience.
It's tough, man. How about I'm getting subbed out, so let me shoot this 3 real quick and see what. I'm like, again, regular season vibes, man. Like, what are we doing right now, man? That was tough, man. But look, all in all, as you said, I think they should hope that they get over the emotions from game one, because I mean, look, if the fans are feeling it, the players are definitely feeling it. But obviously,
as pros,
I
think they will. Do you?
I think they will. And we'll both be in attendance tonight, so they better. So let's hope for a good result, man. And let's circle back maybe Monday, man.
Yeah, Monday we got a shot. The kids are home Monday, so that might be challenging. But
oh yeah.
But look, dude, I mean, this is as close to a must-win as you can have, dude, in a game too. I don't say that lightly. If they lose the game, is the series over? No. Like, is there a world where they win 2 in Indianapolis the way the Knicks have played on the road this postseason? Sure, there's a world where that happens. So it's not make or break. It's not do or die. It's not game over if they lose tonight. But I mean, this team. Here's the thing, and I tried to get out of my stupor yesterday around like 3:00. When's the last time, CP, this team did anything easy this year? Anything?
Nothing.
And nothing. So, fine.
None.
Go down 1-0. Make it hard on yourself. If they can just get through the first 4 games, tied at 2 games apiece, that's all you do. I feel good. I'll feel good about where they are. So win tonight, figure out a way to steal one in Indianapolis, get the 2-2, and then I feel confident enough at the end of games that you have Jalen Brunson and Halliburton. Man, by the way, did you see that stat where this year in shots to tie or take the lead with under a minute to go this year, he's something like 12 of 14 from the field or 10 of 12 or something like that.
Who's that, Brunson?
No, Halliburton.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you probably have and I think Brunson's better at creating his own shot than Halliburton is.
Yeah.
He's had much more attempts than Halliburton in that regard this year. But you have 2 of the clutchest players in the league. But I still like Brunson in that shot creation mode late in the game than I do anyone on the Pacers. So I think if you can be tight late, and look, we started overtime, dude. They were going to be up 6 points, all because of, Brunson was a big part of that.
Yeah.
He scored 6 in overtime. He would have had 8 if it wasn't for the goaltend.
Goaltend, yeah.
I still feel good late, tight, in close games when it slows down that this team will make the plays it needs to in order to win. But look, you have to get there. If you don't play good enough defense and you don't this is the scary point tonight, dude. Mm-hmm. You know this. The Pacers are going to score 115. Like, they're just going to. Mm-hmm. They're that good offensively. So if you don't play good defense and they score 120 and the Knicks have a bad shooting night tonight, mm-hmm. which, by the way, that can happen any team at any time, then you could be down 15 late, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So that's why game 1 was so bad, because you lost a game where you actually shot pretty well. So now you're going to have to come out and do that again. and hope that the Pacers don't, look, they've been shooting great all playoffs. Before that run started, they were, I think, around 30% from three in that game in game one. I think they ended well over 40, right? I don't know where they ended exactly, but I think they're around 43. So, like, the Pacers more likely than not are going to shoot 40-ish% from three. So the Knicks are going to have to shoot well tonight. And in the end, this is people try to complicate this thing so much, and that's what we do. We talk about matchups and switching and schemes. To quote the great Jeff Van Gundy, man, this is a make or miss league. And if you make shots, you're going to win. If you miss your shots, you're going to lose. And we'll see which team makes their shots tonight.
Well, a couple things, because, a lot of people are like, oh, man, the Pacers thing was luck. It was this, it was that. I mean, Nesmith had the third highest three-point percentage in the playoffs. He's been getting it done. This is the guy that
he's a good
out
shooter.
Of Vanderbilt was that guy. He was a good three-point shooter coming out of college. So he's been doing that in the playoffs. Pacers have been a good clutch fourth quarter team in the playoffs. So
dude, this is like their third crazy comeback.
Right.
This is not new for them.
Right. This isn't new. So the Knicks, again, they have to play 48 minutes of basketball. But another thing that I like is if the shots aren't falling, they had 62 points in the paint in game one. I think that can still carry over, especially when you take Turner out the game. Like, I don't, you shouldn't be fearing a Thomas Bryant or Obi out there at the 5. They should be going to the rack straight up on these guys, especially if Towns is in the game. If you have Hart there, taking it to the rack. Like, they've got to attack and get back to the free throw line and hopefully hit them at a higher percentage this game.
And, dude, if you miss shots, crash the boards, right?
Crash.
I mean, the Pacers are not a good rebounding team. So if you can, get in there, crash the boards on some of those misses, I think that's a big part of this too, right? If you miss, you crash, and that also allows you to prevent the Pacers from running out, right?
Right.
If you're getting offensive rebounds, you're not missing your shots. It makes it a lot more difficult for them to get out and run. So, look, I don't feel like I think they just were only +2 on the offensive glass in that game. I think they had 13 and the Pacers had 11, if memory serves. So they need to do better in that matchup too. In terms of attacking the glass and finishing those possessions. You can't give the Pacers second chance opportunities. They're too good.
No.
You just can't have it. So I feel good about this, CP. I mean, if I told you I was super confident, I'd be lying to you. But if, you made me, tell you who I thought was going to win, I think the Knicks will win tonight. But this is the NBA playoffs, man. And I'm just happy they don't have to play the Thunder because, boy, they look pretty good, huh?
They are looking crazy right now. And again, another reason why you want to try to win this thing as quick as possible, because they look like they're gonna be on their way.
They do literally. They play the best defense I've seen since like the mid '90s. It's crazy.
Yeah, smothering. So we'll see what happens there, man. But I'll circle back Sunday. We'll see if we can make Monday work. But as usual, man, great job today, man.
I appreciate it, brother. See you at the Garden tonight. Let's get a dub.
See you at the Garden, man. All right. That was the great John Smelk, everybody. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. What do you guys think about tonight's game? If you guys want to call in on the Discord, I'll stay on for about 5 more minutes. I'm going to try to get to the gym, man, and kind of work off some of this energy here, because it's game time. It's money time. We got to get to it. People's texting me, shout out my guy Elite, saying, man, I'm nervous tonight. How's everybody feeling, man? Throw an emoji in the chat or let me know how you guys are feeling. Salute to my franchise channel member. My 2 cents are steady nerves, everyone. Not too high, not too low. In distance, with 8 minutes to go, it's ours to close. Okay, there we go, man. Hey, Watch Party Tickets NYC, the #1 watch party for the fans by the fans, is kicking off tonight. Once again, we are at Slate NY. That is 54 West 21st Street. So make sure you guys get there and tap in, man, because this will be the best watch party going. If you guys have been there, hey, throw something in the chat. Let the people know what's in store for them. And if you haven't, hey, we welcome all new attendees, because it truly is the best place to be, man. This is the highlight reel from game 1. Baron Davis. We have Baron Davis in the building. You never know who's going to pop in. DJ Eric L. Beats on the 1s and 2s as usual. We got the merch. We have pop-up merch from KFTV, as well as our guys at Baka Back Pages. So we got everything in store for you guys, man. And a great time. Live game audio. Most importantly, we do have full game audio, full game sound. You got the big screen there We have games, Pop-A-Shot, Skee Ball, all of that, man. We got NBA Jam, all of that, whatever you're into. All tables are sold out. All tables, sitting tables, all the couches. We got prime time, couches and everything. All of that is sold out right now. We sold out already. We had 20 some odd tables. They're all gone. However, if you're coming with two people, we do have standing tables where, if you want to get a drink, you want to get food, those come first serve. So if you want to grab one of those tables, come as early as 6 p.m. All right, come as early as 6 p.m. Those go first come, first serve. But everything else, all the seated couches and everything, they're gone. It's Friday night, so you got to act fast. If any one of my franchise channel members is pulling up to the party, free drink. I got a free drink for you on me. We'll get you a free drink ticket just for our franchise channel members. All right, so make sure that you guys get your tickets and meet me there, man. I'll see you guys over there. I'll be there about say 6 p.m. So looking forward to seeing everybody in the building over there at Slate. Gonna be a good one. And no lines as well, man. Sometimes you go around these watch parties, all these bars, and they got these long lines down the street. There are no lines to Slate, man. You're getting right in. We get you guys. I told my people, make sure we expedite the check-in process. I don't want nobody outside. It might be raining outside. Nah, you're getting right in. And that's that, man. And that is that. So, salute to everybody in the chat. Okay. All right, what else we got going on in here? Salute to our franchise channel members. Salute to Armand Dutta. Salute Chris. Salute D. Salute Will Rose. Salute to you, D Cannon 93, DL212. Salute to you, man. Eric L. Beats in the building. Salute to you. Shout out to Red Spice, of course. And there you go, man. If you guys are going to the Garden, hey, prices are pretty hefty. Hey, you can use our code KFTV10 or KFTV. The KFTV code gets you $20 off, or the KFTV10 gets you 10% off your order. Hey, it goes a long way. Tickets are pretty pricey right now to the Garden, but hey, if you want to be in the building, you can go ahead and do that. Also, salute to our sponsors, Morgan & Morgan Injury Attorney, man, the largest injury law firm in the country. Over $25 billion recovered, 500 clients served, and 100 offices and 1,000 lawyers. Fighting for you, man. Fighting for the people. So go to forthepeople.com/KFTV. Hey, if you're injured, you deserve to be paid. All law firms are not the same, and their fee is free unless you win. So make sure to go to forthepeople.com/KFTV or go to pound law or pound 529 on your phone. All right. So it's everybody on the lunchtime grind. Okay, who else we got in here? Let's see. Crew Lou says, salute CP. Wear that Ewing jersey. Yeah, I'm rocking the Ewing jersey tonight. Salute. Salute to Gregory Weiner. Absolutely. Who else we got in here? Prediction is Knicks in 6 or 7. It is our time now. Jason Chavaria, salute. Need to play with pride tonight. Coach Mike, okay. Salute to you, man. Salute to you. TKS, we've got to win tonight in a commanding fashion. Okay. Okay, Alex Doon. He doesn't like the standing tables. Well, Alex, I don't know. You think you're going to every watch party to have a seat. I think you're sadly mistaken. You must not be in the city. Because every bar in the city right now has tables sold out, and you got to be standing around at the bar. So, you do what you do, man. If you'd rather be home, then you stay home. You watch how you watch. It don't really matter to me. Confident tonight. We had the game I trust. That was a wake-up call, ML Narn. Yeah, it better be. They don't really have time to be playing around. This is the Eastern Conference Finals. Armand Dutta, need that killer instinct. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, who we got here on the Facebook side? Thank you, CB. Dominique Jonas, how you feeling, man? Of course, Knicks are going to win. Hey, it's me, Aaron. Yeah, Knicks are going to win, man. Let's see who else we got here. How do you become a franchise channel member? Michael Regano on the Facebook side. Mike, you got to come to YouTube and then click join. You got to come to YouTube and click join to become a franchise channel member. D says play with fire. Absolutely. Yo, Ed, the get back. Let's do it. John Global, salute to you. Says, anytime we've been down, we bounce back. I expect a huge effort. Knicks in 6. Well, that's one of the things, man. The team has not lost 2 games in a row yet. They have not lost 2 games in a row in the playoffs. So, Alex, all good, man. No worries, man. We don't take anything personal here. But shout out to John Global. Shout out to Armand. Armand says, join us, Mike. All right, so Armand is recruiting on the Discord. Creative Lou says, Morgan & Morgan, best law firm, hands down. They definitely helped me with my truck accident. Okay. Well, we hope you came out of that okay. And you were compensated accordingly. All right, let me just check the news wire, make sure we don't got to talk about anything crazy. Check my guy Begley. What's Begley saying? That's my go-to. Okay, now nothing really yet. All right, so that's that, man. All right, so great show, everybody. Thanks again to John Schmelk. Make sure you guys are tapping in with John on Twitter. Do things. Where you at tonight, man? Are you at the Garden? You at the watch party? Where you at, man? John Global says, was at the Game 6 watch party place? Yes, absolutely. Yes. Was a vibe. Oh, yeah, my West Coast people, 33 taps in Silver Lake is where you want to be, man. Shout out to the Shells. My guy Sean Shepard is out there. Shout out to Deez is Nice. Everybody out there, 33 taps. I've been seeing the content. I've been seeing the pictures. Beautiful, sunny California. Looks like a great vibe of our left coast Knicks fans. So happy to see the family coming together. Dude thinks this $2,400 for the tickets for the finals is wild, bro. I don't know. Like, are those pre-sale? I've been seeing people dropping that. Like, is that secondary market stuff? Or what are we looking at in terms of the finals prices? I don't want to jinx anything. I want to take things one game at a time. Yeah, Big Blue Kickoff Giants Huddle. John does his damn thing, man. Does great work. Okay, who else we got here? Go New York, go. All right. Who's all 614 people on the check-in. I was supposed to go like 2 minutes ago. I'm just hyped, man. I'm just hyped. Chatting with the people. Who else, man? Throw some more comments in the chat. Yo, Ed, Knicks showed they were the better team until they took their foot off the gas. We got this. Okay, appreciate you, Ed. Let's go. Got to play with urgency. Yup. D Cannon 93, salute to the chat. CP Mods, franchise channel, let's go. And he threw his against all odds snapback. You see it with the new era joint embroidered. And on the side, got the KFTV joint on the side, man. Get yours at KnicksFanTV.com. Salute to everybody that's been repping and getting theirs. Salute to you guys, man. All right, man. I'm out of here. Salute to the franchise channel members. Salute to the replay gang. And remember that this show's available in audio podcast format. So take us on the road with you and listen on all major podcast platforms. We out of here. Peace.